Is Hot Girl Summer still happening this year?
How many carbs are in a White Claw?
If I squat every day, will I get a dump truck?
I'm Shay.
I'm Leah.
We are Two Tone Training.
You're listening to Don't Tone Alone.
What's up, toners? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, Toning Squad.
We back.
We back. And better than ever. We need to stop singing. I feel like
better than ever. I don't know, dude. I'm a little tired. I'm a little sore.
maybe I jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah, like speak for yourself. But last night was lit.
Last night we did Tall Ships in East Boston. It is the new hot spot in Boston. If you haven't been, first of all, rude. Second of all, rude.
That's all I have to say. No, but it's such an epic spot. It is right on the water. There's a massive boat, and no, unfortunately, we don't tone on the boat. But it's a humongous bar, and then down on land, there's like turf where there's cornhole, picnic tables, food trucks, bars, and then in the back is where Move Studios. For those of you who don't know what Move Studios is, shout out Drew. It's a fitness truck that pops down into a stage in a fitness studio, and that's where Leah and I teach off of. So let me just like set the scene for you.
I know. I feel bad because we teach and we get the epic view with the sunset and the water, and everyone's just looking at us. I'm like, oh, our view is better.
Yeah, true that. No, but so this fitness truck, like it goes down into a stage, and literally in the background, it's the sunset, the skyline of Boston, and then, we get after it. We lay out a bunch of these like LED yoga mats. If you guys haven't seen our yoga mats, they are lit to say the least. They light up a bunch of different colors. Okay, wait. Also, if you haven't seen our yoga mats, Leah, I feel like we need to talk about like how we got these yoga mats.
The story of these yoga mats is like
I feel like
is
people
wild.
need a backstory. People are always like, "What are those?"
I know a lot of people come to the class with the yoga mats. I'm like, no, we got you. We got you. We have mats all ready to go.
We're like, no. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, talk about a production. Like that would be the understatement of the century.
Yeah.
Calling it a production.
Yeah. So Shay and I had this vision of doing an LED boot camp. So we were like, okay, we want to bring almost like club vibes to this workout, and it'll be outside, and we'll have these LED yoga mats, and we I don't know, we said it and we thought it was just gonna be like, sure, and snap your fingers and here we go, here are the LED yoga mats. Guys, do you know what Alibaba is? Because we do.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we sourced these mats. We basically like designed them with people overseas, and we would stay up like late at night, like messaging people
from China. So the time difference is, I don't even know what it is, but like they would be going to bed. We would just be waking up and like, we need to get this order in, and we had an event coming up, so we had to like fast ship them, and it was so stressful, and we're talking to like 10 different people, and they're giving us these offers, like we're like, who do we go with? It was like the freaking Bachelor. I was like, I don't know.
I know, it was so stressful, and it's again hard to, not only was there like a language barrier, a time difference, also just trying to explain what we were talking about and creating this product via Messenger. Like it was just like so hard. I was trying to envision, if you will, like lighting up different colors, and I don't want to have to plug in the mat. So that was like a whole other obstacle that we faced.
I know.
Too. They're like, so I'm confused how it's going to light up.
Right. These poor people like responded to us because the way it works is you can kind of like search a product, and then you start messaging them, and you can customize it a little bit. Right. So we searched yoga mat, and then these poor people responded thinking like, okay, maybe they'll add their logo or something. And we're like, okay, we want you to take this yoga mat. We want you to put a LED border around it. It can't be plugged in. They're like, I wish I didn't answer you.
Right. No.
You can tone alone.
You can definitely tone alone. No, but it really does add to the experience. The struggle has been honestly the summer. This is another thing that we didn't think of is that, we're like, oh, amazing. Like we'll start toning at like 7 p.m. Because that's when we did our boot camps last summer. But I guess I didn't realize the timing because we must have started it closer to like the fall because it was getting darker a lot sooner. But now it's like doesn't get dark until like 9
Yeah,
p.m.
for anyone that's curious, it doesn't get even a smidgen dark until about 8:45 p.m. at night. So I don't know if anyone wants to work out until 11 p.m., but we found that they don't.
Right. So yeah, but it's usually by like the end of class, the mats like start kind of lighting up. But the cool thing is that I feel like we found like our niche. Like it's a very cool like market, especially at this Tall Ships. But then I'm excited to really see the mats in action when we do our event coming up, which is August 14th. If you guys haven't seen it, or haven't seen us blowing up your Instagram.
Yeah. Don't know how you would have missed it.
Yeah, we're doing this epic event at one of Boston's hottest nightclubs, Icon Nightclub. And it's kind of funny when we tell people we're doing a workout event at a nightclub, they're like, I'm confused.
I'm confused why I'm hitting the club at 10 a.m. I'm like, don't be confused.
Just come.
Just come down.
Right. No, but it's going to be like the lights, kind of like the scenery from a nightclub with the energy of a workout. And we're having so many cool brands come on board, which I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And also finally our LED yoga mats that we stayed up so late for, that we stressed about, that we cried about, are finally going to look the way they should. And really the vision is all going to come together.
Yes.
Yes. But I want to backtrack with this Tall Ships thing because there's something that's annoying me. And I just really feel like I need to let our toners in on it. So we'll kind of dive into this later. And we talk to you guys about the hustle, the grind of getting people in class, getting people to these events. You put in all this work to put together these cool events. And you think that, okay, you're just going to put it out in the public and you're going to post an Instagram story about it and everyone's going to sign up. Let us tell you, it doesn't work like that. Nope. It does not work like that. You have to really network. You have to really hustle to get people into these events, because especially doing something that no one has seen before, like, I mean, a few fitness instructors are starting to teach in the club, but I mean, especially with bringing on these different brands and stuff, this is an event that people are kind of confused about. They're like, what are we doing?
Right. So you're like, picture, if you will, this experience.
Yeah.
But again, our promo video we filmed, but when we filmed it, like, it wasn't the day of the event. It wasn't actually happening. It was, to be honest, a dead silent club.
We got, our brother is younger than us. He just turned 21. Shout out Chad, getting after it. My mom's so worried. She like keeps texting me being like, do you think Chad's like drinking a normal amount for a 21-year-old? I'm like, yeah, he's fine. Oh
my God, I feel like I'm like, you're too young.
As I'm like texting him bars to go to in Boston. I'm like, go here and then here. Whoops. Sorry, Karen. Sorry, Mom. So we got him to bring a bunch of friends to this promo video. We're like, oh, it's going to be so cool. You're going to be in this video and it's going to be blasted all over social. We had Tyler, our intern, bring some of her friends too. And yeah, we forgot a speaker. There's so many things to think about.
Well, in our defense, like, I kind of assumed the club would be able to hook it up, but
that's true.
I guess like the DJ wasn't there at 10 a.m. to my surprise.
Weird. We just, I feel like you expect to just walk into a club and like
it's always
at
be
any
lit.
hour. You just walk in. There's a DJ on the turntables like at 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's honestly what I kind of expected.
The bartender shaking up a mojito. Like, no, it's 9 a.m. Things aren't happening. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Yeah, no, it was before hours at the club, and I would say those floors are still sticky. They're like, there are tables turned around. Like, we had to like clear enough space, move the trash cans.
Yeah, I feel
the
like
barf bags to the side.
I feel like it was like Shay finding out that Santa wasn't real when she walked into the club and it just like wasn't lit at 9 a.m. She's like, wait, what?
Oh my God. But speaking of not being lit, like, we just like really had to bring our own hype, and thank God for like just like the dedicated friends and family we have that came and showed up. And even though we didn't have music, they were like, I'm like, pretend you are having the best time ever.
And it was so hot in there too.
Oh.
No music. We couldn't get the lights going for a while. And and we hired a videographer. We had like an hour to shoot and get it done. And we're like, guys, we are selling these tickets and they're going to be expensive. Like, you need to bring a $50 experience
We're like,
to the
Chad,
table
that looks
right
like
now.
a $20 smile right now.
That's a $35 jump squat.
At best.
At best. Do better. He's like, literally, you're not paying me for this. I'm upset.
Oh my God, we're so harsh. People are like, wow. Cutthroat around there.
But I digress because I was going for a story before that.
Okay, sorry.
So, yeah. First of all, rude.
Talking about rude.
And thirdly, rude. So it's not, people just don't come knocking at our doors saying, get me a ticket to this.
Get me in the tone zone stat.
Get me in the tone zone now. It doesn't work like that. So you really have to put yourself out there. So Shay and I decided, Shay is the marketing genius. I'm just here for the ride. And she decided to create these business cards with QR codes on them. And she put on this tagline for a good time scan. Guys, if you got a business card that said for a good time scan, you best believe you'd be scanning it.
Like especially I was like, Leah, I feel like we're almost gonna have better luck with guys handing these to. Like their interest was piqued.
Yeah. So we just like went up to them, and so this was at Tall Ships, and we have these little business cards, and we're like, what are you doing on August 14th? And a lot of people were like, I don't know. And we're like, yes, you do. So we handed them the cards and kind of walked away. We left a little mystery almost. Don't you feel like that? I felt cool.
Right. We want to make them want to scan.
Yeah. So we're like, yes, you do know what you're doing. Anyway, so we did that to probably like, I don't know, at least 10 groups of people. And we go up to these two guys. We see them, and Shay and I look at each other. We're like, all right, these guys. Like, yep. Like, you have to hype each other up. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we're both extroverts, I'd say, but it's still uncomfortable going up to people and selling something. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, because I mean, there are those people that you go up to and they're like, no.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, sorry. Have a good day.
I'm sorry. I looked at you. Our fault. So we go up to these two guys and I'm like, what are you doing August 4th? Like, I feel like I was wearing a little coat and I like put it down a little more. I'm like, ooh, like,
they're gonna love this.
Here I go. And we're like, what are you doing August 14th? And he's like, I have a beer dye tournament. I have a beer dye tournament. It's going to last all day. I've planned it. I have about 25 people RSVP'd. That's what I'm doing on August 14th. It's like, excuse you? Like, he was so, he was just so serious about it. So for those of you that don't know what beer dye is, I just learned that Shay doesn't know what it is.
Guys, I went to fashion school again. Like, you were not playing beer dye. Like, again, I was turning up at the club, which is why I was really surprised to see it not so lit.
Sewing and turning up at the club is what I picture for you at FIT. So beer dye, you take a dye, you have like a folding table, and there's teams. So I think there's 2 people on each team, and you have solo cups with alcohol filled. You throw the dye up in the air, and you can only throw it like 3 feet in the air. So if you throw it too high, it's like, boom, cut. No, too high. And it lands on the table. Obviously with a dye, it like is bouncing around, all these weird bounces, and the person on the other end of the table has to catch it. But they can't use your body at all. So you have to catch it with one hand, and if it bounces off your body, you're drinking.
I'm already like scared.
It's really fun though. It's like one of my favorite games because I'm like, I get to be athletic. This is so much fun.
Oh my gosh. I already know. You're like, I don't want to be on a team with you, Shay.
Yeah.
Because I know you're going to be bad at this.
Yeah.
The hand-eye coordination. Like, I'm definitely like athletic in a sense. Like, fitness, obviously, our jam. But like, the hand-eye coordination,
it's just
not there.
You know, can't have it all. You know? So if the dye drops or if it touches your body, whatever, you're drinking. Anyways, it's a fun game you should play with your friends. So
now people are going to want to go to the tournament instead of coming to the August 14th event.
Shoot. Just shot ourselves in the foot. But anyway, so this guy was just so serious about it. And I was like, I feel like I was like joking. I was like, oh my God, I've went up to like 10 people and no one knew what they were doing on August 14th. You're the first one. That's so funny. And he just like looked at me like stone cold and was like, okay, well, like, go away. Like, it was just, I don't know. I felt so uncomfortable about it. I was like, you know what? Sometimes, and it brings it back to the life lesson. Sometimes you're going to put yourself out there and people are going to make you feel weird and rejected, and it is what it is.
And they're not going to appreciate you, but find the people that do appreciate you. Like, and that's the thing too, even with the boot camps, is like, the class itself is not going to be for everyone. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow, especially, we always say this, we're people pleasers.
Yeah.
And we want everyone to have a good time. That's just like our nature. And we just want it to be the best experience. But at the end of the day, I think it's hard to cater a workout for every single type of person. And it isn't going to be for everyone. Yeah, we play loud music, we play hip hop music, and that might not be your jam. We love to jump around, and if you want the low impact version, we're always going to offer modifications, but some people might get frustrated with that and not like to see almost that there is so much jumping, and the high impact version is always kind of the first version we show out. So it's not for everyone, but the people who it is for, I think, are the people who are going to stick with us and are going to be dedicated, and just finding our niche and finding your niche. If you're thinking about starting something, remembering and not getting discouraged at the people that
the beard eye
guy, or the people maybe who leave bad reviews on your podcast, on your boot camps, whatever it is. Even I think right before this, Leah was just reading out a comment about someone who posted on one of our Facebook ads about the club event.
Yeah, he was like,
what was he even saying?
Yeah, he was like, why? This makes no sense. First of all, I have never seen this man before. So he's just a random guy looking for trouble. And he's like, this makes no sense. Why would you go to a workout and then undo everything you just did by eating bar food and drinking alcohol? I'm like, well, first of all, sir, we are serving protein donuts because #gains. And second, we are having Noka, which is like a boozy water. So like if you are going to be drinking that day, which I bet it's a Saturday, like people are going to be drinking anyways, it's a healthier alternative. So
and
take
if
that.
you don't want to drink alcohol, True Bev is going to be there with some energy drinks, some recovery drinks. So before you go hating on our club event, why don't you read the description?
Well, yeah. Why? Clearly you didn't read the fine print. So
all I'm going to say, sir, is that one, rude, second, rude, and third, you can tone alone.
Boom, mic drop.
Yep. And that's it. Have a great, you can tone from home.
And that's the end of the podcast. It is funny because I was offended. I was offended reading that comment, and like my heart starts to sink. And then I'm like, wait, I don't know this guy. He doesn't know us, and he doesn't know about this event. So why am I taking this so personally?
It's always the people though that are like hiding behind their computer. Like a lot of these people would never say the stuff that they say online to your face. And I remember us even getting a few messages like, what was it, a few months ago when we did a post about it, and I was like, I feel like we can turn this into like almost a lesson. And someone was like just like commenting on our bodies, and it's hard. You are putting yourself out there, and we're in sports bras and shorts a lot of the times, and we're opening ourselves up to critiques by posting so much. But you just kind of have to look at it and be like, all right, you can have your opinion, whatever you want to say. You're hiding behind a computer, but like we're proud of ourselves, our bodies. So
I know,
to not let it get to you.
I know it's so weird the world we live in now that like everyone has such access to you. I even said I yelled at my mom. My mom's name is my mom. I love when I say my mom. Yeah. Our mom's name is Karen, which is just hilarious because we just make her feel so Karen-esque. I'm like, oh, I'm pulling a Karen. Like anytime I complain about something, I'm like, oh, she just went Karen on her ass, and my mom gets so mad. She's like, stop. So she calls restaurants, guys. Get this, Karen. Ugh, the lovely lady she is. She has now like a code name. Whenever she calls restaurants and makes a reservation, she puts it under Lisa because she's like, God forbid there's an issue. I don't want to be under Karen. And I'm like, I feel like Lisa is like the second worst name you could pick. Like pick Tiffany, Jen.
When you're name dropping, I was like, oh, she's going to come out with Sally.
No.
Fake Sally.
No, Sally.
It's kind of funny too. Like our brother's name is Chad, and I feel like that's also has such like a stigma around it too. Like the Chads.
And our brother is like the least Chad there is, I feel like.
Yeah, he's the coolest Chad I know.
He's the coolest Chad, obviously. But he's not a Chad. And then the whole thing with Chad and then Dad. So when we were growing up, I'd be like, Dad, and then Chad would answer. And then I'd be like, Chad, and Dad would like never the right one.
Honestly, it's been a hard life.
been really tough.
And in conclusion,
rude. Kurt and Karen, our dad's name is Kurt. It's rude that you named our brother Chad.
Right.
But we wanted to talk a little bit more about like the evolution of our boot camps. It is pretty crazy. Like last night when we were up on stage, I love saying that. Whenever I put on our mic and we're on stage on Move Studios, like I feel like Britney Spears.
I'm like, tall ships, how we doing tonight?
Yeah. Who's in the house?
Like crowd surfing to the few yoga mats. We're like, wait, okay. Maybe not the bad yet.
I know. I like keep my jacket on till the very last second and then like the curtains open. I'm like,
that's my favorite part. Yeah. Showing off the Alala set. Last night's outfit was one of my favorites, actually.
Yeah. The reef set. Guys, if you haven't checked out Alala and their reef set, it's probably my favorite. We got a lot of compliments on them last night. I mean, I did at least.
Rude. I'm like, did I? But these are really cool. They have a bunch of different like colors on them. It's like a really strappy back on the bra, and yeah, it's a whole vibe.
It's a whole vibe. But the evolution is real. So I was standing on the stage and I was like, wow. I remember when we were taping stuff and we were at a park in Framingham with our boot camp, and we were begging people to come, and we had like 8 of our neighbors. Legit our neighbors.
Like every week we'd be like, what are you doing?
I think people are scared of us now. Like I don't think anyone gets excited when we slide into their DMs because they're like,
oh, they're gonna go again. They're hounding us.
They're hounding us to come to this boot camp.
But I always say this, and even to the trainers that I help teach virtually, that's part of my full-time job.
Yeah.
Is that like, don't be afraid to ask. People honestly, I think, just forget. So like continuing to remind them, I think a lot of times like we even feel really annoying.
Yeah.
And some people might find it annoying.
Yeah.
But
we're not for everyone.
But don't be afraid to ask and just remind people. And sometimes, that one post, like we say, some people are like, oh, and then that's going to fill my boot camp. No, it's consistency. It's continuing to build those relationships with people, whether it's in the DM, whether it's texting them, whether it's sending them videos, or continuing to post, like posting a story every day until the event, so that people are seeing it a few times, usually on that first time, especially when you're selling boot camp tickets or event tickets that are a little bit more expensive. Like the marketing person in me, I'm like, you have to see it at least 7 times to then be like, okay, like maybe I'll go attend this. Like I've been seeing it everywhere. Let's see what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like the first time you see it, you kind of swipe past it.
Yeah.
The second time you're like, all right, like this is kind of cool. You might like send it to a friend. Like, would you be down?
Yeah.
And like the third time you might actually go to the site, add it to your cart. Okay, we get it. But and like maybe on the 7th time, that's when you're kind of checking out with that purchase.
That's really, it's so interesting to me because I feel like I'm so clueless when it comes to social media, and you just understand it. So tell us more. Well, what else can we learn from you, especially if you're starting your business? Like, I don't know, what are like some things that you would
like as far as like marketing your boot camps and stuff. I guess things that we've learned is like, again, reaching out to people with content. We've made a lot of like different like flyers so that we can just send people like quick and easy messages.
Yeah.
And not making it so copy and paste in the text, like try to personalize it a little bit. And then, I remember it was a really big deal for us recently when we hit 10K followers on Instagram, because it's huge in the marketing world, because you're then able to add a swipe up link. So it just makes it that much easier for people to register for boot camp versus like head to the link in my bio. You're adding in that, even just adding in that extra step is people are falling off.
It's so wild how people just need it to be right at their fingertips or they won't do it.
Yeah. And then just getting creative with the way you advertise too. So lasting out this event, like posting on Instagram, even that is not enough. So Lee and I have spent like nights just reaching out to companies that might be interested in the boot camps. I even like Googled like Boston events, and I was like, how do people find other events? Like if you're visiting a city, like how would you find an event? And there are so many event pages. So we reached out to them and just like basically are spoon feeding them content. I think if you make it really easy for those other websites or companies to use or to promote your product or service or whatever it is, like the more likely they are to do it, because they're like, oh, the content's already for me and I can just kind of like hit upload.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just, as someone that is not really super good when it comes to social media, it's interesting to hear these tactics. And I think convenience tends to be the thing that comes back is however convenient it is going to make it more likely for people to send it out, to sign up, whatever the case is.
Right. And just getting creative too with it. Like the business cards, I think was a interesting idea and an interesting tactic. Like I was like, Leah, it's so important that not only do we do the boot camp, but then we show face at the bar after and try to make some of those in-person connections, because those are so much more powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, just creating that experience, getting people to post about it too. Like, so taking full advantage of the events that you are doing and how can you capitalize on it and how can you get the word out? So even at those beginning boot camps when we were only getting maybe like, what is it, like 4 people in class, like those numbers were really low. But okay, so we're only getting 4 people in person. So what else can we do to kind of monetize or to use this experience? So like the first thing we did is go to virtual. Okay, so yeah, only 4 people are getting the in-person experience. But if we can get this all on camera, if we can create content here, or if people can tune in virtually, there you go. Your reach is so much further. You're creating that much more content. And now we can use it to publicize future boot camp. So not getting discouraged when some of those things are small and figuring out how else you can turn that negative into a positive when it comes to marketing.
Yeah. A lot of our friends and family are people I haven't seen in a while. Like, oh my God, you guys are so busy. You guys are doing everything. And Shay and I have been talking about it, especially this summer. We went into the summer knowing it was going to be an insane summer.
Yeah.
Like, we've said it before, we both work full time on top of Two Toned. So our schedules are insane. And right now we're kind of dipping our toe in everything. Like we're doing the podcast, we're doing the boot camps, and we're teaching virtually. Like we're doing a lot. And I think this summer is about finding what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, no, Lee and I have looked at each other quite a few times this summer and just been like,
looked at each other, gazed into each other's eyes.
I'm a little burnt out, and I'm like, okay, like this isn't sustainable. And we say that when making a healthy lifestyle, when doing anything, like we are putting in that extra hustle this summer, but knowing it's not for a long time. Like we can't sustain this pace for much longer, to be completely transparent.
I'm tired, to be completely
really
transparent.
Tired, but I think the reason we have grown so much in such a fast and short amount of time is because we have like dipped our toes into a little bit of everything. But then I'm like next summer, next season, like in the off season, we're going to kind of figure out and take a look at numbers and like, okay, what's working? Like, is it the podcast that we really enjoy, or that's kind of what's helping our business grow? Or is it the boot camp on Thursday? Whatever it is, I think I already have a list of kind of the things that I'm like, okay, next summer, like this won't be happening, but, for instance, like Tall Ships, you better believe we'll be back at Tall Ships.
You best believe it. Yeah, and I think it's weird too, because you look at things like the boot camp and it's a pain. It's a pain in the butt, but it also translates into so many other things. So that's what we have to look at too in our meeting, in our end of summer meeting. I'm already writing the agenda. We have to look at, so we do these boot camps and people are getting to meet us and they're seeing our face in Boston, and we're getting to connect with them. So maybe even if we're not making $1 million in revenue, what does that translate into? Other companies, right? Seeing us in the Boston area, making a presence, so then they want to work with us. So you have to see how it's easy to just look at the numbers and be like, well, we're not making money with this, so like this is a waste of time. But you have to look at it from a little bit further of a lens, I guess.
Right. No, I think that's so important. A lot of times, like trainers or whatever industry you're in, a lot of people have a hard time when they're not able to see kind of like that monetary value of that particular work or job, whatever, like right away. If they're like, okay, well, I'm not getting paid X dollars for this event, then that doesn't make sense. But no, the value there is so much more, like you said, like the exposure, the networking, the connections. And then I love what you said about brands. And that's, I think, why we work with so many brands is because they see we're so active in the community that we're constantly networking. So that's how we're maybe going to make the money back, is brands paying us to wear the clothes to these events. And then you're, like Leah said, taking it a from a bird's eye view, and you're like, okay, now that makes sense. Now those boot camps technically are making you money.
Right. So that all things that we're going to bring into this end of summer meeting. Yep. So keep those in mind.
So maybe we have the end of summer meeting on here.
Should we have our end of summer meeting on the podcast, guys?
Let us know.
But I do want to reiterate too, and we were talking to another trainer about this. It's not just about the money. And if you're in it just for the money, then don't bother, because you really have to love what you do. You're not, I mean, we're trainers. Like at the end of the day, we're not getting rich from it. I mean, there are some people who have made amazing, outstanding businesses where they're making a ton of revenue, and that's fantastic, but it took a long time for them to get there. So if you're just focused on the dollars, then you're in the wrong industry. And I know you and I value connection, and we love fitness, and we love seeing people have fun with fitness and seeing them connect with others too. And that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, no, I think the passion first, and then the money will come. And it's easy when you're so in it to lose sight of it a little bit. Like we've had those nights where we just are so stressed out, and we're like, the music went out, even for instance, last night. Like,
oh my God.
It's part of like the events, part of show business, people, is that we're like at this like last like finisher. It's like, I don't know, you're just like bringing the event home, if you will. Like it's the grand finale. You're up on stage, like the lights are finally going.
It's this
like,
big build up.
Yeah, there's like a DJ on site last night, which was so epic. And then guys, like the music cuts, and I'm like, up. And you know, like people are just like beat by this point. They are so tired. They are like, I just did how many burpees, donkey kicks to the like moon, and now I'm going through this crazy finisher. It's like my last 2 minutes of work.
And it's like
you
a
almost
library.
like rely on the music to get you through. And it's like dead silent, and Lee and I look at each other and I'm like, up.
Yeah. Like up. We just worked so hard just to have a silent finisher.
Right. But I was like, Leah, we got to like kind of bring it back on stage. Like, remember why we're doing this? Like, we almost noticed it more than other people. Like, yes, people knew that there was no music going on, but continuing to kind of like.
Probably because I started singing.
Yeah.
That's when they noticed.
Crying, maybe. But I'm like, let's go. Bring your own hype to the mat. Like,
yeah. I mean,
you gotta just keep it going, keep it moving. Because if you stay and sulk in one place too long, like, I don't know, like you're just
gonna get stuck there,
it's and a downward spiral if you're stuck in that place.
Yeah, there's so many things out of your control, and honestly, contributes to a lot of my stress and your stress. I'm sure is a lot of stuff is out of our control. Like last week, we had like 35 people signed up for class, and it started raining. It started pouring, and we had to cancel class, and we were so stressing out about it. And it's like, at the end of the day, we can't control the weather. We can't control that the music went out. Like, it's out of our control. So control what you can control. Take that with you in any situation. It's your attitude. And if we were to just sit there and be like, this stinks, you guys can keep going with this finisher, then it would have been lame. But we were like, you know what, screw this. Let's hype them up. Let's use our voices, and it is what it is. Roll with it.
Right. Like you can, like, yes, you are entitled, like entitled to your pity party, whatever
your
it is.
moment.
Like your moment, have your moment, but then move on. And almost like each time Leah and I have done a boot camp, and we've learned so much throughout the summer, even just like trial and error with a lot of different things. But yeah, trying not to get discouraged right after. Like we've come home from boot camps before, like crying the audio again, always the audio,
always the
damn audio. But I'm like, okay, so now we know that these mics didn't work. So now what are we going to do next time? Or how are we going to prep a little bit better
in case that does happen?
Right. Like what's our plan B? What's our plan C? So now we pretty much have like a whole like manual. So that stuff like doesn't happen quite as often, and you're kind of like limiting the amount of mistakes that are happening during these boot camps, because we're now in a better flow, if you will.
I like that. I like that a lot. So with that, we are going to end with our little segment called 2 cents. So we are going to take questions, ideas that people wrote in, and we're going to give our 2 cents, because again, you guys haven't heard us talk and give our opinions enough. So we just want to give you more of that.
Yeah. No, but it's interesting to be able to actually like pull stuff from the toners themselves as they slide into our DMs as we talk to them at boot camp. And it's always great to know what you guys want to talk about or what you guys are really thinking.
Yeah.
So the first one that we had someone talk to us about is they basically said, SOS, I'm so motivated for a little bit, but then I fall off.
Yeah.
So talking about kind of like the ebbs and flows of motivation. And we do have a motivation podcast, so make sure you refer back. I don't even know what number episode it is, but I think it's called, the episode is called When the Motivation Isn't There.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we talked so much about like this in particular because it's interesting. Like
a lot of people have said this lately, actually.
Yeah, when you're like especially during the summer, I think like you're like on like such a good routine, and then a vacay comes up, or for instance, like last weekend I was away on a bachelorette party, and then just coming back into the grind, like it just takes that extra like oomph. Like you almost just like need to force yourself in it, even when the motivation isn't there, to kind of remind yourself why you're doing it. Like, I'm going to the gym because it makes me feel good. I know I feel good after it, even though I don't feel like it right now. I know that I'm going to feel a lot better later today or later this week if I kind of get back to incorporating some vegetables in my diet after a whole weekend of whatever, like maybe not as good of food.
Yeah. I know it may sound silly, but really tell yourself when you're in those moments of, I really don't feel like working out today, and I can make up 10, 12 excuses as to why it doesn't make sense for me to work out today because my meeting ran late and I forgot my shoes or whatever the case is. It sounds corny or silly or whatever, but tell yourself, why was I going to work out today? What was the reason? Was it because I have a goal that I'm striving for? Is it because I want to feel good? Is it because I want to, whatever the case is, like, tell yourself that reason, and then you'll figure it out. Then you'll be like, okay, I can do this. I can get to the gym. I can set aside 30 minutes to lift some weights, go on a run at home.
Right. And the more you make it part of your routine, like the easier it is when you do have that weekend away or those off days to get back into it. So just trying to remind yourself of that, make it almost habit, so that when you break the habit, getting back into it, it's almost like an elastic. You're snapping right back into place, and it's as if you didn't miss a beat.
Yeah. And those first 2-3 days are going to feel a little uncomfortable, and you're going to feel, I don't know, weird about it. But I promise, like day 4 or 5, you're going to be like, okay, this is my routine. I'm good.
Yeah. So don't get discouraged. Whatever you're doing, stick with it. If for those of you who are getting back from, or who have been out of it for a little bit, and like now's your chance.
Now's your time.
Feel that for you.
Love
okay.
that
This next one, I'm self-conscious about working out in front of other people.
Yeah.
So we get this a lot, especially because our outdoor boot camps are, one, outside and in a group setting, but they're also like in front of people who are like drinking or eating, which is kind of funny. Like at the street where we teach, the classes are outdoor on this like turf area in front of like a Shake Shack and a big restaurant where people are just like whining and dieting outside. So like real shout out to the toners that come through for those classes, and you're just hustling while people are just going to town.
Yeah. I always say this, and I said this last time too, is remind yourself that the people eating and drinking aren't working out. They're not making the commitment that you're making. So you're already doing better than, than them. So remind yourself that, like, also what you said is everyone's so in their own world. They're not looking at you. Like, you may want to think they are, but they're not. They're very focused on what they're doing. The good news is that no one cares.
They didn't see that burpee.
Yeah.
They didn't really care how high you got on your jump squat.
Yeah. So yeah, like check your ego. Like no one's looking at you. No one's focusing on you. Like you're doing something to better your health. Like that's nothing to be ashamed of. And even if you don't think you look so cool doing it, who cares? Like you're getting better. You're having fun. You're doing the damn thing.
Yeah, with some of those moves, the swagger will come. Like when you're first learning the moves, especially, oh my God, I'm just like flashing back to last night when we had people like doing the donkey kicks, like
oh my God,
face down, ass up, legs in the air.
Yeah, and like boats were like honking.
Right. Like I don't know. I feel like even the first time I did that, I like literally face planted. Like it is so hard. But I'm like, try one. You're gonna feel stupid. You're gonna feel silly. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Heck yes, amen. Preach, preach, preach.
Preach, preach, preach. Even at tall ships, people like are so distracted by the scenery, the food. Like I think just
by the sausage guy.
The sausage guy. I was distracted by the sausage guy.
Could smell it from a mile away.
Yeah.
We did get sausages.
Okay, they were steak tips. Yeah.
Okay, steak tip, sausage, meat.
Gotta go with the meat truck.
With that, we are going to end the way we always end. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope to see you Saturday, August 14th at the club.
Check it out. Go to twotonedtraining.com or go to our Instagram. Everything is linked in our bio.
Convenience, people.
Convenience, another marketing strategy, right to the link tree. You can press on Tall Ships. You can press on Fitness Fest. There are so many things you can book right from there, or tone with us virtually. If you are not in the Boston area, download the app for free. Salute. We tone 3 times a week. So make sure you come and work out with us, get a good sweat in. And like we said, just make a part of your routine.
We would love to be a part of your routine. All right. You can tone from home.
You can tone from your phone.
But all we ask is that you don't tone alone. Bye, guys.